So I found this on Thingiverse and I just had to build it. It's a little steam engine and it actually works. And it's actually really brilliant in how it works. And it's very simple but still very brilliant. It's got a flywheel. The flywheel's got some weights on it, which are basically just some M4 nuts that are wrapped up in tape, and I just stuck them into the little holes. Reason for that was to give the wheel a little more weight, and so it gets some inertia. As it's turning, it'll help the engine keep on moving. It's a little important. We'll get to that. We have our cylinder here, and this is your piston, which is connected to a crank. That's your air or gas inlet, and that's your exhaust. Unlike a normal car engine, in this one the cylinder is actually free to pivot with the piston. And the way this works, this it is a steam engine, but if I actually try to run this one off steam, it will probably melt because this is made out of PLA. And it starts to get really soft and jelly-like at about 100 degrees. So it will probably still work for a minute or so before it melts if I do manage to put some sort of high-pressure steam coming into this pipe. Fortunately, it can actually work on almost any other compressed gas, including me just blowing into it. It is actually light enough to turn the flywheel. The way this works, it's really simple and brilliant. There is this is the inlet port, and if you can see just over there, I'm not sure if it actually shows up on the camera. There's a little hole on this side, which is connected to the inlet. Same thing on this side as well. So basically, as the air, initially the pistons, the whole engine is in this position. This is the starting position of the engine. There's a hole in the cylinder that's aligned to that hole I showed you, which is connected to this pipe. As the gas moves into this pipe, it enters the cylinder, pushes down on the piston, which moves the piston down. And as the piston's moving down, it's turning the crank, which is turning the flywheel in the back. And the momentum of the flywheel at this point is enough to keep it turning because of the weights that I added in the beginning, and it just keeps turning and goes right back to the top position again. At this point, the entire cylinder is now tilted, so it's no longer connected to the intake hole over there, but now connected to the exhaust hole. And as the piston's moving up, it's actually just taken the air out of the exhaust. Well, in this case, because this thing is so leaky, it probably just escaped out the bottom, but it still works. So as the momentum of the wheel keeps turning, it resets the cylinder back into the position of the intake for more gas to enter the cylinder, and the cycle will continue. This whole thing is held in place by this little tensioning screw with a little spring. Didn't have a spring, so I just turned some wire around the nut and I just stuck it in there, and it seems to work. So the whole point of this is to keep the cylinder attached to the block without actually making it too tight. I can adjust how tight it is. Just find that little sweet spot between being too tight and having a certain amount of air tightness between the two. I put a lot of oil in there to lubricate the whole thing. And basically this is how it works. So to start it up, I just need to blow air into this thing here, or hook it up to some sort of a gas source, and just turn the wheel a little bit so that it gets the momentum it needs to start up the engine, and it works like this. Just like that.